I'd like to welcome representatives from Special Olympics Ireland to the gallery. You're very welcome to join us here today. And I'm going to call on Senator Mary Moran to move the motion. Mary, you have 10 minutes.
Aska Hirlich. I'd like to welcome Minister Lynch to the House for this important and dear to my heart private member's motion this evening. I'd also like to welcome Mr Peter O'Brien from Special Olympics Ireland in the gallery, Mr Jim Kelly, parent of James, the athlete, and also Killian, another athlete, and the reason that we're really here for these Special Olympics athletes. You're all very welcome to the Visitors' Gallery for this debate. Minister, I'm delighted personally that you are taking this debate, as I know you have and experienced your active commitment to people with intellectual disabilities. Special Olympics is what it says in the name. It's special. The volunteers who lend their time and money and who without Special Olympics would not exist. The athletes who compete and exercise unrivalled compassion and sportsmanship. The parents who watch fondly as their children make friends and engage in athleticism. This is what makes Special Olympics unique. My own experience, I know there's nothing like it. I've watched my son overcome with joy and pride. I think sometimes I can be more competitive than the athletes, as I think many parents, we all stand. Recently we were at the regional finals in Kilkenny, and it was such a joy to see parents, siblings, and athletes and everybody together, and sometimes athletes waiting for other athletes before they cross the finish line. And to me, that's the true moment of sport and equality. It's an indescribable moment for every parent who has witnessed the same. This evening, I would like to pay heartfelt tribute to the Special Olympics of Ireland. This organisation provides athletes with otherwise scarce opportunities to develop their physical fitness, demonstrate their courage and compassion, experience true joy and participate in a sharing of gifts, talents and friendships with families, Special Olympians and the full community. I think it's fitting that we have this debate around the time of the 10th anniversary of the Special Olympic World Games in Ireland, a truly momentous occasion and probably the most successful games. At the time of the Games, every corner of Ireland became involved and contributed greatly to making these Games widely recognised and the most successful Games on record. This firmly established Ireland as a caring island that supports equality and inclusion for those people with a disability. The Games of 2003 brought home the true meaning of sport. I could spend all of my allotted time about the Games in 2003, but this private member's motion must be future focused. I'm here today to bring further awareness to Special Olympics Ireland. We must continue the momentum from 2003. Special Olympics Ireland has permeated all 32 counties of Ireland and has established 400 established community clubs. 1 in 3 people with an intellectual disability in Ireland participate in Special Olympics. 1 in 3. This represents the highest worldwide penetration rate of Special Olympic programmes in the world. I think the average in most countries is about 2%. Here we've 33% over it. This is an absolutely incredible, and these numbers are on the rise since 2003, with 5,500 new athletes joining since the World Games in 2003. The valuable and vital year-round service of training and competition to over 11,000 athletes cannot be emphasised enough. Just from this statement alone, it is apparent that Special Olympics have taken a large burden financially off the state and the taxpayers. And indeed, I'd just like to pay tribute to my own local club in Blackrock in County Louth, because we have the large games every 4 years. But within that, we've got every single Saturday, every single weekend, the dedicated followers, volunteers, young and old. I think, speaking with Special Olympics, I think they've informed me that their oldest volunteer is 92. I mean, that's amazing. Special Olympics Ireland is only able to provide this much needed service because of the 25,000 plus volunteers who commit endless hours to the organisation. The volunteers are the backbone of the organisation, and without them, Special Olympics worldwide would not be the success that it is. The financial position of Special Olympics Ireland is precarious at the moment. The organisation has been shrewd and professional in their financial dealings, but the recession has left no stone unturned. The organisation currently receives €1.2 million in government funding through the Irish Sports Council. They also receive a small grant of €54,000 from the HSE for the promotion of health, with the commitment just up to 2015, and this is it. Worryingly, this represents just 34% of the overall costs of running the programme in 2013. For comparison's sake, I'd just like to refer to Northern Ireland, where they receive funding from the executive to the tune of 68% of their operating costs. I think, Minister, that further cross-border cooperation for Special Olympics would be extremely useful for us and would provide valuable knowledge for both sides. It provides another non-sectarian link to our partners in the North, and indeed, as a member of the Good Friday Agreement Committee, I have submitted such a proposal, and I would be grateful if I could get the backing that we could initiate talks between the two. Special Olympics Ireland has run it as an operational loss in 2012 of 1.41 million, and it is estimating a projected loss of 1.69 million this year. So it can no longer rely on the generous donations that they once received to fund their activities. Difficult economic times are the obvious cause, and we must do something. We must pick up the slack here to support the people who gladly give up their time and ensure that this service does not even have to contemplate downgrading their programme, especially in light of the upcoming June 2014 Special Olympics Ireland Games in Limerick. And I must say I was horrified when I read recently that if the funding if they haven't adequate funding, that there is a danger that they might have to send a reduced team to Limerick, or a reduced team to the European Games next year, and a reduced team to Los Angeles in 2015 for the worst. And that is probably the worst thing that could happen. The Department of Health, Transport, Tourism and Sport, Department of the Environment, Community and Local Government, the Department of Education and Skills, Department of Justice, Department of Children and Youth Affairs and the Department of the Taoiseach each have a responsibility to Special Olympics Ireland in various different ways. 1.2 billion is allocated each year for disability. Special Olympics receives not 1 cent, even though they greatly enhance the physical well-being, social situation and mental health of each athlete. It would be pertinent to remind these departments that health is not solely responsible for disability. At a time when we promote equality, inclusion and mainstreaming more than ever, I would have hoped that certain departments would have taken the notion on board that disability is an everybody problem. And pointing figures back to health and not working in a cross-departmental fashion is something that must be examined. The only people that we end up hurting with this behaviour are the people that we are aiming to help. Those athletes who participate in Special Olympics are recognised for being susceptible to obesity, cardiovascular disease and osteoporosis. Socially, they're prone to having few social outlets and difficulty in assessing social situations with their peers. 1 in 5 people with an intellectual disability are diagnosed with depression. And when you think in the context, it's over 5% of the population. I would ask that the Department of Health think more innovatively and support Special Olympics Ireland, because, to be quite honest, they have taken a large burden off the department's shoulders. And to be totally honest, I don't think that this will sink in for some people until the service is in danger, seriously in danger. Special Olympics Ireland is allocated no money from the Department of Health. I would ask that they be considered in this year's budget 2014 configuration. One specific measure that I would ask to be introduced is the provision for a small amount of money, perhaps €100, and I know, Minister, that you are particularly, that this is your belief as well, that the money should follow the client. So I would propose that perhaps a small amount of money, maybe up to €100, could then follow the athlete and be taken from that budget. It would not be directly allocated to the programme, but they would be held accountable for how it is spent. This figure of €100 as a suggestion would ease some of the burden on the organisation and be transparent in its function, and would be doing exactly what we in the programme for government set out, that the money would follow the client. It is obvious that Special Olympics has been asked to do so much with very little, and with numbers increasing every year. We owe it to support this as a government and on a cross-party basis, and I hope we will have cross-party support here today. Special Olympics has given so much. It's time we gave back to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Moran.